So, you want to know what's going on?
Yes.
Well, I got to be honest. For the last 5 months, I've been conducting a social experiment online to expose how gullible and how delusional the left is.
We love it, Josh. And now I'm so happy that you came on this program and you're so gracious to fly all the way here from Chicago to come speak with us and talk about how insane the world is that you putting on a woman face, I guess is that the best way to describe it?
Yeah, woman face.
You were accepted by some, you were demonized by most, and now you're saying this was all a ruse, this was a social experiment, and I know you studied sociology. Didn't you major in sociology?
I did, yeah.
So what you did is arguably one of the greatest social experiments of our modern internet age, in my opinion, and that's why I really appreciate you coming on here and talking about the real truth. So this whole time, this has all been a stunt to try to expose the weird ideology of the transgender movement?
Well, I would say any biological man putting on woman face and putting on makeup is pulling a stunt. They are faking being a woman. And so what I did was I faked being a faker. I pretended to be a pretender. We are all the same. We're all men that were putting on makeup and dresses and claiming we were women. And I hope that this could help some people understand that just because you put on dresses and makeup as a man doesn't magically make you a woman. Hey everyone! So I'm at Target doing some lingerie shopping. Well, I was trying to. And I'm thinking what everyone else is thinking. Where's all the tuck-friendly lingerie at? I feel like all women have a right to feel beautiful and seen when they're trying on clothes, and that just wasn't the case. And I feel like for those of us that were blessed in certain departments, it's especially important that we have clothes that fit our large appendages and that we just feel beautiful. So I hope one day we can have trans-friendly departments everywhere, including maternity and everywhere else, so that our shopping experience is a positive one and we don't have to struggle to fit in. No pun intended. So, my 2 cents for today. Bye, everyone.
And Josh, I love that video because, you know, I put on the tuck-friendly bathing suit at Target and went super viral. Now you're making content at Target. I'd have to say that you and I are like-minded. We realize how easy it is to push these people's buttons and how easy it is to show them how absurd they are. Like, I got well known for doing something called culture jamming, where like you take the most absurd parts of our culture and you jam it in people's faces. And I think you're the best example of that, even more so than me, even more dedicated than me. There's guys like Alex Stranger. There's other people that try to do this culture jamming stuff. But what you did is like you were a method actress, I guess I want to say. You actually stayed in character for months on end, did multiple interviews, went on multiple shows. Literally, I mean, behind closed doors, I'm sure you didn't pretend to be a woman, but you stayed in character in every moment, even when you're just talking to somebody casually. So really, you're an incredible actor, Josh.
Well, thank you. I think any trans person is an incredible actor. They're all pretending to be something they're not. You mentioned showing the absurd. I use reductio ad absurdum, or sometimes called reductio ad absurdum. And it's a form of argument in logic which tries to disprove a proposition by showing that when you take it to its logical end, it leads to absurd and illogical results.
Yeah.
And so that's really what I was doing, was showing that the whole idea of postmodern gender ideology is ridiculous and absurd, and I tried to be the most extreme version of it and take it to its logical end to show how ridiculous it is that people can actually believe that biological men are magically transformed into women because they're having a gender crisis. So I hope I showed how ridiculous and absurd it is.
You did, and then you and I were talking about something on the phone. Is autogynephilia, and that's just when explain that, because a lot of people don't also realize Josh got his law degree, got his undergrad in sociology and social and what, psychology?
Political science.
And political science. So Josh is not a dummy, you know, even though he's, hello, hi there, you know, I know you act a little fruity, but you're actually a very smart guy. But when it comes to this whole ruse, how did you catch yourself in this predicament? What made you, what set you off and said, you know what, I want to go and try to expose how weird all this transgender ideology stuff is?
Well, you just mentioned autogynephilia, so I'll address that first and then I'll address the second part of your question. Autogynephilia is when men are turned on at the thought of themselves being women. And I think a lot of trans women are turned on at the thought of themselves being women. Guess what? It doesn't magically make them women. It doesn't mean we have to accept that they're women. They are simply men turned on at the thought of themselves being women. That's great. We live in a free country. You can do whatever you want, but don't make your fetish my truth. I don't have to accept it. To go to the second part of your question, how did I come up with this? I was talking with some friends and we said this is patently false. Men do not magically become women. I said, let's look at the medical literature and what it says. It says that trans people don't have to transition, don't have to have gender dysphoria, don't have to get surgery, and don't have to get hormones. If they feel they are a different gender than their bio-sex, then they are trans and they are valid. And I said, understandably, this is ridiculous. Then I can present exactly how I am, and I can be trans and valid if I say that's my gender identity. And so I said, let me prove how ridiculous this is using reductio ad absurdum by being trans for 5-6 months, and hopefully people will understand then how ridiculous this is.
People are going to get mad. They're going to say, oh, Josh, you faked it. You broke my heart. I really thought you were trans. What do you say to the people that actually became fans of yours that are going to be upset?
Well, I'm sorry that I had to satirize something to show people the truth. And if their feelings are hurt that men don't magically become women because they slap on lipstick and say they are, I don't know what to tell them. They might want to read a biology book, but the onus isn't on me to explain simple truths to people. And that's why I did this, because it should be a basic truth that men can't magically become women just because they want to. And so if that truth hurts people, I don't know what to say. They can continue to live in a suspended reality. They can continue to engage with their delusions, but it's, you know, all I can do is speak the truth. And if they're hurt by the truth, so what? I don't care.
You sound like Ben Shapiro, facts over feelings. Is that his saying, Jimmy?
Yes, that's Ben Shapiro.
Facts don't care about your feelings.
Facts don't care about your feelings. So anybody that's sad about this, facts don't care about your feelings. Now, speaking of famous people, not just Ben Shapiro, but I want to play SOT 8B. This is Megyn Kelly calling you out, and she was really, really affected by you doing this bit. And I kind of wonder why that is, because Megyn Kelly is on this kind of anti-trans kick, and I guess I didn't expect that from her. I figured she'd be kind of a limousine liberal-ish a little bit, because, you know, people that work in Hollywood or New York and you're on sets a lot, you know a lot of gay people. Like you said, I don't necessarily hate trans adults by any means, but I don't like the transgenderism of little kids, you know, trying to put them and confuse them and tell a kid they're born in the wrong body. So I like Megyn Kelly for calling that out, but I was surprised how mad Megyn Kelly got at you for being an adult doing this. So let's play SOT number 8B.
Can we please talk about the Bachelor contestant who now says he's a woman, which we all know on this show is not possible, sir. He is claiming that he's a woman, but some believe it's all a big troll. Okay, he has full body tattoos, which he shows off. He has short hair, like man hair.
Women can have body tattoos.
He has facial hair. Look at this. Look at this guy. It's unbelievable what they can call a woman these days. Josh Seiter, 37, former Bachelorette star. He was on season 11 of the TV show in 2015 from Chicago. And as of this past May, claims he's a transgender woman. If you just substitute fake for trans, you can follow.
I like that.
He's a trans
you
woman,
like
which
Megyn.
means he's
Now
fake.
we agree with her 100%.
And he now has revealed
she's
he's not on
you.
hormone medication and is unsure if he will get surgery.
Follow the
but
science.
We're supposed to be treating him like he's a woman.
It is so detached from reality and so insane. And I think that's the feature. It's not the bug. It's meant to completely confuse us. It's meant to make us think, I don't even know what's real or what's not real anymore, so I can't say anything. And no, we should keep saying this is insane. It's insane whether he thinks that he really is a woman or if he is trolling to show how insane it is insane.
I think that's a good service.
It's offensive. I keep thinking back, Xavier, to the whole blackface discussion. It's like, okay, everyone always knew, well, not always, but in recent history, everybody always knew that that minstrel show blackface was a hard no, very racist. But then some people said, well, you know, putting black makeup on or brown makeup to go out on Halloween, that could be something that's meant to honor somebody that's not as offensive. How is this any different from minstrel show blackface? The whole thing is designed to mock and diminish us. No actual trans person would look like that or behave like that. They do all the time. He's making a mockery of women, and yet we're supposed to sell it. I don't give a shit whether he's trolling or not. I don't think he is, but what do I know? I don't know this person at all.
You fooled Megyn Kelly. How does that make you feel?
Well, she makes some really good points that there's absolutely no difference between trans people doing woman face and people doing blackface at minstrel shows. They're both highly offensive and people should be offended by it. But instead, the left celebrates trans women and tries to denigrate anyone who dresses up as Michael Jackson for Halloween. So it's really interesting the hypocrisy she exposes there. She also made a great point when she said, just substitute fake for trans. You know, they deserve our compassion. Lots of trans people are suffering from a diagnosable mental illness, which is gender dysphoria. It's in the DSM-5. And so they deserve our compassion and our help. And that's why I did this, because I'm offended at the medical community and the media that indulges these delusions, eggs it on, and confirms these people's beliefs that they're something they're not, instead of treating them. Instead of giving them hormones, they need help. And especially as pertains to young children, it's even more egregious what they're doing. Mm-hmm. They're confusing these people. They're exacerbating the gender dysphoria and the situations they find themselves in. And I think that's reprehensible. So I understand and commiserate with Megyn Kelly's outrage. She's absolutely right. The only thing she was wrong about is, like every other trans person, I'm not really a woman.
And you got her. You did, you know, at the end, she's like, well, I don't think he's trolling. So it seemed like she's so brainwashed by thinking that these trans people are just everywhere that she thinks that you're real. I think that was really funny. And I think it is important. You know, you're going to get a lot of, you know, kickback for this, but you had a lot of support too. In your DMs, I don't know if you want to leak any names or anything, but you had a lot of people cheering you on during this process.
Yeah, there's a lot of, you know, famous people and big names, actors, singers, and stuff that messaged me and said, I know what you're doing. You're playing 4D chess. This is brilliant. It's a brilliant troll. You're exposing this stuff for how ridiculous it is. Even had some people that said, you're doing reductio ad absurdum. I applaud you. So lots of people were getting this troll, but a lot of people weren't. And a lot of people genuinely thought I was a trans person, because it's hard to tell the difference, sadly, between comedy and someone who's genuine about being trans.
Yeah.
Because it's comical at a certain point. And so the fact that my outrageous videos were indistinguishable from people who genuinely think they're trans women is an indictment on how ridiculous and absurd it is. And so I just think that's a sad fact. We need to start dealing in reality, and the reality is men don't magically become women because they want to.
Yeah, and you know, you make good points. And I think it was Boston Children's Hospital got exposed for saying that they like to diagnose a kid with gender dysphoria because they become a lifelong patient. So this is, like you brought up, the medical industry. Yep. They love all of this stuff because they can now prescribe hormones, they can prescribe SSRIs, antidepressants, and then they can give them these unnecessary mastectomy or even bottom surgery. So, you know, I think what you're doing is very important, but are you a virtue signaler? Like, I mean, or, because like, let's be real. People are going to watch this right now. They're going to say, Josh, now you're coming up with this great story about how this is good for society and how you're exposing everybody. But people are going to say, Josh is just a clout chaser. He just did it for clout. Now it's over. What do you say to those critics that are going to say that you're doing this, not for the social experiment, which I believe that you're doing. That's why I do this stuff. But they're going to say you're doing it for clout. What do you say to those haters?
Well, I can't disabuse anybody of their beliefs about me, and I don't try to. People believe whatever they want. All I can do is try to be authentic when it comes to the points I'm making and the truths I'm speaking. And if people think I'm a clout chaser, I did this for ulterior motives, I would say, why don't you question the men going into women's bathrooms?
Exactly.
Why don't you question the men getting transferred to women's prisons and committing violent rapes and impregnating women prisoners under the guise of being trans women? Why don't you question those people? Because we're dealing with palpable, real harm there. If my satire upsets somebody, I hope the thing I'm satirizing upsets them more.
And why don't people go after these Leah Thomas? And I guess Leah Thomas and Dylan Mulvaney do get a lot of kickback, but why are they more worried about you than the guy that's using the male that's using the restroom with their daughter? Why are they more mad at you than the real life applications where this is happening, where a teacher is trying to tell kids they're born in the wrong body and basically confuse them? Why is it? Is it because you're just easier to bully, or they think you're trolling? Like, why do you think they come after you instead of actually going after the problems of all this weird indoctrination that's happening?
Yeah, I think anytime you go along with the official narrative, it's easy. And the official narrative is the trans movement is authentic. We should virtue signal towards it, and you can't mock it. And so people want to be loved, they want to be liked. And so they're going to say whatever is going to get them in favor with the people in power. And the media and the left have made it clear that if you go along with the trans movement, they'll love you and you'll be part of their community. Me, on the other hand, I don't want people to love me. I don't need people to love me. I care more about the truth. And so I think there's just a human need to be liked and to curry favor. And I think that's why there's this draw with the left in the woke mob. There's a draw that they have and a power that they have over people because people naturally want to be loved. They don't want to be pariahs. They don't want to be outsiders. So they will do and say anything to curry favor with the media and the left. Me, I don't care if they hate me. I want them to hate me, and I'll debate any of them at any time. I'm happy to. It's a scarce commodity now to find people defending basic rudimentary truths like men can't magically become women. And so I feel like someone had to do it, and I appreciate everyone that's supported me. And I've earned a lot of invective and a lot of hate and vitriol because of it, but I'm fine with that because I would rather be on the right side of truth than be loved in virtue signal and be adored by the left. I don't want the adoration of the left. I don't want the adoration of people that buy into delusions. I'm a mental health advocate, and I've been advocating online for over 8 years. I'm also a sociologist by training, and that's why I'm so passionate about this, because there are people that deserve our compassion and our help that are struggling and going through crises, and what they need is someone who actually understands them and talks to them and gives them love, and not someone that feeds them lies for profit and to be loved. And I think it's despicable what the medical community is doing, and I think it's despicable what the media is doing. These people deserve our love and compassion and our help, and they're not getting it. Society has failed them, and they need to start getting it. We don't tell anorexic people, you're fat at 80 pounds. We don't entertain their delusion. We don't tell schizophrenic people, yes, the CIA is hiding in your bushes.
Well, they are hiding in their bushes.
Why do we tell people with gender dysphoria, yes, you are correct. Your delusions are correct. They need treatment, just like people with anorexia, just like people with schizophrenia, just like people with depression and anxiety, like I and millions of other people have. And that's why I'm so passionate about it, because it makes me sick to watch these people get lied to so that the medical community can curry favor with the woke mob. So I'm not concerned about the truth hurting people. I don't care if someone finds the truth offensive. It doesn't make it offensive, and it doesn't make it wrong. And so I make no apologies for the extremes I went to. If I have to satirize something for people to understand something very basic, then I'm gonna do it. And I don't care if it upsets people. That's their problem, not mine.